Find the slope of the line that's perpendicular to the graph of this line, 2x minus y equals 2. Well, because we have two lines that we're working with, it's a good idea to, from the get-go, label the different lines with variables. So L1, let's call that the given line, 2x minus y equals 2. And L2, that will be the variable that we'll use for the perpendicular line. And so in this problem, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out the slope of L2. Well, the slope of a perpendicular line is actually related to the slope of the given line. And so the first thing we want to do is figure out the slope of the given line. And to do that quickly, all we need to do is rewrite our L1 line in slope-intercept form. So what is slope-intercept form? Well, it's y equals mx plus b, and it's so useful because the number in front of the x is m. It is the slope. So all we have to do is take our equation, 2x minus y equals 2, and rewrite it in slope-intercept form. We have nice tutorials that show you how to do this, but basically all you need to do is bring the 2x to the other side by subtracting it from both sides, and then multiply by -1 to make y positive, and then just flip around the order here, and you'll get y equals 2x minus 2. And that is y equals mx plus b form, that's slope-intercept form. But the whole point of writing our line in slope-intercept form was to find the slope. So now we can actually find the slope for our line L1. And to do that, we just have to look at y equals mx plus b, and remember that m, the number in front of the x, that is the slope. So our equation is y equals 2x minus 2. So the number in front of x is 2. And that means that the slope, m, is equal to 2. That's the slope of our given line. That's the slope of L1. So now that we know that slope, we can find the perpendicular slope. The perpendicular line, remember, is our line L2. And so now we have to think, how is that slope connected to the slope that we know? Well, it turns out that if you take the slope of the perpendicular line and multiply by the slope of the given line, then you'll always get -1. That's a beautiful fact about perpendicular lines. So why don't we just plug in the value that we know for the slope of L1? Here we go. Slope of L2, that's what we don't know. We're going to multiply by the slope that we know, 2. And we're supposed to get -1. And now if you want to solve that, you can just divide both sides by 2. Divide by 2 here, divide by 2 here. This cancels out. And we're left with the slope of L2 equaling -1/2. That's the answer. That's the slope of the perpendicular line. But there's a slightly faster and a little bit easier way of figuring out the slope of a perpendicular line. And to do it, all you have to do is start with the slope that you're given, which is 2 in this case. Then take the negative of that given slope, which means you just turn a positive into a negative or a negative into a positive. In this case, +2 becomes -2. And then you take the reciprocal. In other words, you flip it. So if it's a fraction, the denominator becomes the numerator becomes the denominator. If it's a whole number, you just put it on the bottom of a fraction with a 1 in the top. And that's it. So the negative reciprocal gives you the slope of the perpendicular line. Just take the negative, flip it, and that will be your answer. It's a little bit faster than going through this process of solving, but it gives you the exact same result in the end.